So today I'm going to give you a quick update about the foot injury that I had, and if you would like more in-depth details about it, be sure to check out my blog post about it, and that will be in the description below. So about 2 weeks before our winter showcase in December, my left foot started hurting. It was just a very sudden pain. The day before, I just had a little bit of Achilles soreness, but I've had that before in the past, so it was not something new for me. And it honestly wasn't anything insane. It was very light. Basically, I could not point my foot the next day. It was just so painful to point it. I took it easy throughout class and didn't really rehearse all of my pieces that I could have that day. And then I rested it over the weekend. But then I came in the next week and it was still there. It was a little better, but it was there. Mr. Ellison asked me a little bit about it, told him where it was and when it hurt. Eventually the pain was worse on demi point, and it was okay to point it, but that eventually got better and I was able to point my foot, and then the pain was actually, it felt better on point, more towards winter showcase. It felt a little better on point. So basically he asked if I was getting treatment. I went to acupuncture that same day, helped a little bit, but I think you need to go more than once for it to do more for you. Then later that week, I went to physical therapy, and she actually helped me so much. The difference at the end was that it felt a lot easier to go to releve, and it didn't feel as restricted, but it was the same thing, still there a little bit, not completely gone. So I didn't rehearse the rest of that day. I had PT, and then I went to Robert, who is a deep tissue physical massage therapist. He is amazing. He helped me so much, and he kind of looks at the bigger picture. So for me, he thought it was more of an issue in my spiral line, which started at the inside of my ankle, which is where my pain was, and then went up the outside of the leg, up the outside of the quad, into the obliques even, and then it continues across the rib cage and up even into the back of the neck. But he thought mine was more a lot of tightness at the bottom of the quad area. And then he also thought it was more FHL related, that tendon that runs along there. So he did some trigger point therapy there and gave me some exercises that I could do to help release it, which I continued doing. So the next day, it was a Friday. I went to Robin on Thursday. I still took it easy because I didn't want to push it too much to the point where it would come back. But I started rehearsing more on flat. And then over the weekend I rested it, and by Sunday it was actually almost gone. Like, it felt pretty good. But what I figured out basically is that it would get way better with a lot of rest, but then come back the more I started dancing, which is what happened the next week, which was our tech week and whatnot. But on Monday I was able to do more than I was before. I was able to do more of Waltz of the Flowers. I did it on point. But I still was not able to rehearse pas de trois. This was really upsetting for me. I was so upset about this because I was really, really excited to perform pas de trois. I love that piece. I mean, it's just amazing. And it was just frustrating that I've been rehearsing it, and then I couldn't rehearse it now because of the toe hops, basically. The toe hops were just so painful. I don't even know how to explain it. The pain I had in general, too, it was kind of like a pinching, like kind of jamming almost. It hurt a lot, okay? So basically I was not able to rehearse that, but I did rehearse my other pieces. But it was a very, like, upsetting and frustrating week for me. Like, I was finally able to do their winter showcase, and I was performing pieces that I really loved. It was just so frustrating for me. I obviously wanted to perform showcase pain-free and perform all the pieces I had to I've been rehearsing, you know. It was frustrating, but I tried to look at the positive side of it and think, okay, I'm still performing most of my pieces. And in technique class, I was focusing not so much on my foot, so I was able to focus on other things such as my alignment, and that was improving. Ms. Forrest said that since I was able to focus on that more, that was improving more. So there were positives to it, but, obviously it was frustrating not being able to perform everything. So we had tech rehearsals, I believe, Wednesday and Thursday. I was able to do the first run through of all my pieces, but it felt pretty bad by the second run through, so I did that on flat. And same thing Thursday, we had tech rehearsal again. And then Friday I believe we had like dress rehearsal at the theater. And I was able to do that. That was good. It was good for us to get to do it on the stage. It felt a little shaky in dress rehearsal, but I didn't really feel my foot when I was doing Waltz of the Flowers, which was our first piece. I think it was the adrenaline, and the same thing happened for the performance. I had a lot of adrenaline. So for Waltz of the Flowers and Napoli, my foot was pretty good. I started to feel my foot a little bit towards the end of Napoli, but I was able to do it, and I'm actually pretty happy with how both of our shows went. I think we all worked so hard for this, and I think it came out really well. Also, considering my foot was really painful and it was kind of like a brick. I'm happy with how it went, so I think it turned out well. So after showcase, we had 2 weeks off, so this came at a good time, but also not a good time because of showcase. But at least I had these 2 weeks off, which I counted as part of my rest time. When I was home, I went to the doctor, got some x-rays, and he said it was posterior impingement in the back of the ankle, which is when the bones are pinching the tendon back there, which is great. No. So basically he said I should take 3 to 4 weeks off and probably go in a boot. So I did that. I took 4 weeks off and I was in a boot for most of that time. So when I went back to the city, I watched classes for 2 weeks and took notes. I felt like this was kind of good. Again, Miss Forrest also kind of said that this was like a blessing in disguise, because from sitting out, I was able to absorb a lot more, and I was able to observe differently. So watching from the front of the class, you can see how she wants the corrections to be applied and how we're applying them. And it was very different. I was also able to write down so many corrections, so I feel like I really absorbed a lot. And even though I wasn't able to dance and work on everything myself, I feel like it was still good. It was still a good thing. I don't know. Pros and cons to it, obviously. So basically, just going to sum this up really quickly. First week back, I did a really baby bar. Nothing crazy. Not even releve on one foot. Kept it to mainly 2, not even doing releve, basically. Then the second week back, I started doing releve. Oh, no, I kept it up to 2 feet, sorry. Miss Forrest, I kind of asked her, each week what her thoughts were, what I should do. She said, I think to still keep it on 2 feet for the second week. The first week, it felt very weak. It did not feel like used to anything. I couldn't stand in 5th position. It just felt so strange. So the strength started coming back a little better the second week. The first week, it just felt very weak, not used to anything. It still didn't feel like, obviously, 100%, but it was coming back more. I'll put a picture of this in the blog. I took a picture of my foot pointing both of my feet in front, and the left foot obviously didn't point as far. And when you point your foot, if you're stretching your foot all the way, you'll get a cut in your calf, like the calf muscle engaging, and that was completely non-existent on my left foot. I could just not find the muscles. It was from being off for 4 weeks. And of course, my left foot, which is already my bad foot, just looked even worse than it did before. But I just had to be like, okay, I'm getting back into things. It will come back. So the third week, I started doing more releve on one foot. I didn't have any pain where it originally was. I had some soreness on the top of my foot, and then a little bit of like a pinching / soreness in the back of my foot, but that went away. I think it might have been just getting back into things, maybe compensating a little bit too. So I also, for center, I would stand in the back corner, basically, and I would do arms full out and work on that, but I basically wouldn't use my foot, really. I would do some things on the right side, but not really anything full out completely. But as the weeks went on, I started doing more and more center. And then I believe it was the 4th week, I started jumping. Oh, I was so excited. I really missed jumping, but I just did jumps in first. And then I would start to add a little bit more. But each week, Miss Forrest said to just add like one thing at a time, because then you'll know if that hurts it or not, you know. So obviously just taking it slow and getting back into it too. And then just, I believe, the 5th week, I don't remember it. All I know is that it was 9 weeks since showcase, I started point again. So 9 weeks without not doing point. That's a long time, okay? I was worried about this. I was like, wow, I've been off for a long time. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like it shouldn't have taken this long, but I don't know. I didn't want to re-injure it, you know? So doing point for the first time after 9 weeks off was, I was nervous, honestly. But what I did was I just did really slow releves and first at the bar. I didn't really feel any pain, but it felt really stiff. It felt like I had a brick or something on my foot. Like, it was really stiff. But as I did more and more point each day, well, not more, just kept doing it every day, it started to loosen up a bit. So I'm still only basically doing releves at bar, and I'm just gonna take it day by day to see how it goes. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing I can really do right now. But as of right now, I am doing pretty much all of class full out, jumps and everything. Still not too much grand allegro on the left side, like landing on that foot, and pushing off of my left foot is still a little funky. It doesn't really hurt, but I think I don't know, it's just a little weird. But yeah, so I'm getting there. I can't wait to be doing like all of point and partnering class and everything. Alright, so this was hopefully a quick update, but if you would like more details, be sure to check out the blog post. Alright, thank you for watching!